What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well and that you're ready for another great week ahead in the markets. We have another weekly market profile forecast for you guys for both the ES and NQ futures markets, and we are going to dig in to NQ session profile first and foremost. Probably pop over to the weekly candlestick chart, just share some thoughts on what things look like on that end, and I will leave you guys to it to prepare for another good trading week ahead. So first and foremost on NQ, I am really interested or most interested in our reaction to this overlapping value that we have from Thursday and Friday. So what overlapping value is, for those of you guys who might be a little bit less familiar with market profile terms, is value areas that are stacking. Now, the value area on any given profile is where 70% of that profile or that session's trading took place. So you can see that on Friday, the value area high was at 10,905, value low 10,720-ish. On Thursday, the value area high was at 10,848 and the value area low at 10,763. So that means that our value areas here are stacked, right? You can see Thursday's value is within Friday's value. And you can also see that we have this area being created between Thursday's POC at 10,798 and Friday's POC at 10,815. That tells me that that is a very important area, and the reaction to this area and this POC from Friday in particular is going to be pretty telling for what we will see moving forward and moving into the rest of this week. So what I will be looking for first and foremost is a move or the reaction to Friday's point of control at 10,815. You can see currently we have this overnight profile that has rejected so far from that POC, but we've only been open for 40 minutes, so take that with a grain of salt. But this is going to be an important area moving forward. So we could draw a little zone here between basically 10.8K and 10,815. And if we can move and hold above 10,815, first and foremost, I'll be looking for a move into 10,848. Then if we can get acceptance above that, we are very likely headed back to the value area high from Friday, but not without a stop first and foremost at Thursday's high at 10,888. And of course, acceptance above that gets us back into this nice little zone created between Thursday's high and Friday's value high. And you can see that we've got some good confluence there between the low from the November 2nd regular trading hour session, as well as the overnight POC from that second into third overnight session there. So that's another important zone that's created. And that is where I will be looking for upside if we do get accepted above that 10,815 level. On the downside, if we get rejected from 815 and 10.8K basically right here, then I will be looking for moves down into Thursday's value area low at 10,763. After that, I will be looking for a move to this zone created by Thursday's low, as well as the initial balance low from Friday and the value area low from Friday. So if I zoom in here on the profile and get rid of these drawings, you can see we have the value low at 10,720 and the IB low at 10,722. The initial balance, for those of you guys not familiar, that is the opening 1 hour range, right? So this was the lowest price traded in the opening hour, and this was the highest price traded in the opening hour. And there is typically some good trade opportunity around those IB levels as well. And especially if an IB level is stacking up with another market profile level, such as the value area low in this case. And another thing that I think is worth pointing out is that you can see that we have the value area low from that overnight session right here as well at 10,717. So this zone between 10,708 and call it 10,722 is going to be very important to hold. And we are very likely to see good trade opportunity at that area if and when we get down there. Just as an example, let's say price does break these levels and start to head down. We could either have long opportunity from Friday's value low or Friday's low, or we could have short opportunity if this level breaks. For example, if Friday's value area low breaks here at 720, might have a good quick scalp down to 708 and perhaps even a long trade at these levels as well. Same thing, 708 breaks, perhaps or very likely a short opportunity down to 662, and if 662 breaks, very likely a short opportunity down to 636. So that's how I'm thinking about these levels, and that's how I'm using them in real time and really taking high probability trade opportunity off of these levels. So it's very important. If you guys can be patient and wait for price to move to these levels, you can very likely take trades from level to level when it comes to these market profile areas. All right, so let's hop on over to the weekly profile for NQ. One thing that I want to show you guys first and foremost is that the monthly volume composite point of control is basically right where we are right now, 10,793. You can see there's good confluence there between that monthly volume composite POC as well as the value area low from the October 10th weekly session there. So if we break this, again, a pretty good probability that we move down to that 662 level, which is the low from last week, and that was the low from Friday as well. So good confluence there, but we do have a ways to go before we get to that area. I would like to see, especially us hold below these levels in the regular trading hour session. The overnight, of course, because less people are trading U.S. index futures in the overnight session. The New York trading or the New York session is really where I want to see things go down and where I am deriving more of my information from. So you can see with that said that we have the value area low on a weekly basis at 10,832. So if we can get back above that level, look for moves towards that 10,844 level, 10,921, and even 11K on that weekly perspective. So that is what I'm going to be looking at most immediately, and it's going to be a very interesting week. I mean, we had a 900 and almost 960, a 960 point range throughout last week. Before that, we had an 800 point range, and before that, it was half the size at about 400 points. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of activity we have happen next week. You can see we've got some volume voids in the profile here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this get filled in, tap a 921-ish, and we've got some pretty thin profiles from a weekly perspective as well. You can see that not a lot of activity has taken place here, and typically price likes to gravitate back towards those areas where it has not spent much time. So again, if we do get upside, there's not a lot holding price down once we get above 921, and I would be looking for a move back into 11K, 11.1K if we do get some upside pressure this week. So with that said, let's pop on over to ES. We'll chat about the ES session profile, maybe pop over to the weekly candle charts, and then we will be on our way. So what I'm looking at on ES is pretty similar. You can see that we actually haven't even gotten up to the point of control from Friday on this overnight session yet. Again, we're only 45 minutes in, so no biggie there. But that's something to pay attention to. ES, generally speaking, was a little bit more bullish because you can see on Friday, ES did not make new lows for the week and held. And we actually held the overnight low just comparatively to the session on Friday for NQ, where we broke Thursday's lows. We didn't break the overnight low on Friday, but I think it's important to point out that ES is likely leading a little bit in that case. So there's a little bit of divergence in that regard as well between the selling pressure that was seen on NQ on Friday versus ES. So same thing that I will really be looking at either way is really this reaction from Thursday's high. We have a little zone between Thursday's high and Friday's POC at 37.6275. Also great confluence between that POC here at 37.91 from the second into third overnight session, and then the November 2nd regular trading hours session low at 37.60. So just to be exceptionally clear here, we have all of these levels stacking up very, very close to each other. So again, and you can see here, we also have the overnight volume point of control here, this bright cyan area in the volume profile. So that is going to be a very important area. Move and hold above that, very likely going to get some nice upside reaction into these highs, 37.80, 37.90. That's the value area high from Friday. And above that, I will be looking for a move to 37.05, 37.07, which is, we have some nice confluence here between the value low from November 2nd and Friday's high. You can see we also have a naked POC up here at 38.42. So acceptance above that 38.05 level, and very likely another strong reaction to the upside. But as I always say, one level at a time, and we will have a trade opportunity at most of these levels if we are patient enough and if we are picky enough to wait for a high probability setups. So let's move on. We'll check out the weekly here on ES. One thing that is different on a weekly perspective from ES and NQ is that the weekly point of control, or I'm sorry, the monthly point of control on this volume composite to the right is all the way up here. you could see that when I flash over to NQ, boom, we're right at the POC right now. And we did do a lot of business up here on NQ, to be fair, but it is, pretty different in that regard as well, where we have this area up here that is very, very important, that 3870 level. And that is where we have done the most volume this month, or for the past month. So keep an eye on these things. And if you guys are using weekly profiles, keep an eye and look for differences between ES and NQ, because that can also offer up some high probability trade opportunity as well. So from a weekly perspective, we are right around last week's value area low, 37.54, and that was the prior week's low as well, the week of October 24th. So if we can move and hold above this level, I would be looking for a move back up to 37.80-ish, acceptance above this, likely a quick test of that 92 level. And then I'm looking at the high from the week of October 3rd, and then back into this 38.50-ish level from a weekly profile perspective, which is the POC from that October 24th weekly session as well. So we've got a very, very wide range on ES as well as NQ this week, or last week, but we will be using these levels to, look for further conviction on either side. Rejection from last week's value area low likely gets us right back down to 37.04, and we have a naked point of control on the weekly to the downside at 36.95. So downside pressure, if we get it, I think we are very, very likely to see a test of 36.95, and that is where my eye will be. I will be looking for, possible shorts from 37.54 down to these possible levels if we do not get accepted back into last week's value on ES. So let us go over to the regular candlestick chart here. I'm looking at the ES weekly. Nothing is really too different from our last video. These are updating very, very slowly, but I want to say that unless we break these prior lows right around 35.90-ish, that we could still very well come down. I mean, we could come all the way back down here and put in a higher low. So we could put in a higher low with a close above the top of the prior weekly candle at 39.17. Obviously, we need a pretty big move to see that, but nothing is out of the question. On NQ, very, very similar situation here. We still have not closed a weekly candle below these lows, so we have not invalidated them. So I think that this could be getting a lot of people short late, possibly, for a move back up. It will be very interesting to see if we do break these lows on NQ and close a weekly below 10.7K. Very, very likely we're going to test a 10.1K and making new lows on the year. So with that said, I'll show you guys the daily real quick. The daily looks a little bit more promising for a bounce from a candlestick perspective, but I will say the weekly looks better from an oscillator perspective, right? You can see these oscillators are looking very close to curling and crossing to the upside right here. But on the daily is a little bit less conclusive, right? It looks like more possible downside pressure, especially on ES, right? ES looks like it is ready to pull back a little bit further. So it will be very interesting to see if we can continue to hold this area right here. Now, the last weekly candle on ES, it closed at 37.79.50, and we needed a close above 37.82.50 to truly confirm a higher low on the daily. So technically speaking, from a candlestick perspective, we do not have a local low yet. We will need to close above the prior daily candle here at 38.05.50 to print that local low on the daily. And to print a local low on the daily on NQ, we are needing a close above 10,974. So look for those levels. Those are obviously going to be very important. Daily close above, call it 10,980, very likely gets us a retest of the daily 21 EMA around 11.250, right? So that is going to be something to look out for. And of course, if we close a daily below, really below the last week's, the last daily candle at 636, 10,636, then I'm thinking that we will likely see some further downside pressure. So it's going to be a very interesting week. Regardless of what happens, we will have excellent high probability opportunity every single day by staying patient, waiting for our high probability setups at these major market profile levels especially, and that is what I will be looking for moving into tomorrow and the rest of the week. So with all of that said, if you guys are enjoying this content, if you find value in it, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to get notified every single time that we post videos here on the channel. If you would like to learn more about what we do here at the Trading Network, please check out our website, thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to the TTN Pro Trader Bundle, which includes the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, the Proprietary Indicator Package, and lifetime Discord access. You can, of course, purchase all of those products standalone on our website as well, in addition to one-on-one mentorship with me. If you have any questions, you can find us at info@thetradingnetwork.io. You can drop a comment down below. You can DM us on Instagram, Facebook, Discord. Any way we can help, we will do so as soon as we possibly can. And I look forward to seeing you guys in our private community as well as in the next video. Much love.